every app you love was just once an idea that was methodically transformed into an engaging experience that you can't get enough of now. So how do they do it? What are the concepts behind creating a really good design? That is what we're talking about today. I'm going to go over some UX design terms that I think you should know, whether you're interested in UX design, you're currently in a boot camp, or you're looking for that first UX design job. These are the kinds of terms that you want to make sure that you're familiar with. So when you are faced with them, you kind of know what you're getting into already. I did kind of what I'd call like a part one to this like 6 months ago. So we are reprising, we're bringing it back. I've got some new terms for you guys. These are some terms that I think it's really important for you guys to know just to help better communicate and come off as the pro that you are. So let's get into it. First term we're going to talk about is an edge case. So an edge case refers to a scenario that kind of happens at the extreme end of a scenario. So let's say your scenario is in this box. We'll say an edge case is kind of what it says. It's anything that might be a little bit outside that. Are things that might not be expected, something you might not think of initially. Maybe it's something with a system limitation, whatever system you're using to build something. That could also create an edge case. They also might not be immediately apparent as you're designing. So for example, let's say you are filling out a contact form and they've got the name, phone number, address, email, phone number, whatever. An edge case though, most people probably have a name, a few characters, 9 characters, 10 characters, maybe in their first name, same thing in their last names or shorter. You might have the people though that have first names that are 15 characters long, 18 characters long, and the same for the last name. So an edge case would be the people that have really long names. Are you designing for that edge case? Is there like the input field that you design, like the text box, is there a place for them to have so many characters, or is it cut off? That's the kind of thing that I mean by an edge case, where you're thinking about the scenarios that are kind of on the fringes that you want to make sure that you factor in. And sometimes edge cases might just have to stay on the edges and they're not big enough to actually incorporate into your design. But something like this example is pretty simple to not have certain character limitations on input fields. If you weren't to allow somebody to put in as many characters they want, there could be an error. It could truncate whatever they were typing in there. So just things that come across that aren't the best experience for users. So that is what I mean by an edge case. You kind of want to make sure your design is comprehensive of as many people as you can accommodate. You can't think of every edge case. You can't design for every edge case, but just to kind of keep in mind of like, okay, is there anything, almost think of like an anti-persona. Is there any way that this is not going to work? These are the kinds of things that you want to look for when you're trying to think through what your edge cases could be. Next is MVP, or minimum viable product. So I feel like I say the word MVP multiple times a week in my job. This is a product development term, and all that means is that you're developing a new product with the minimum amount of features required to satisfy a customer need and collect the maximum amount of validated learnings, valuable information with the least amount of effort. So think of it as like, okay, an app that we probably all use, let's say Spotify. I'm sure when Spotify first got kicked off, what it looks like now is not what it looked like today. Their first MVP probably just had maybe even playlists or just like a list of songs. It probably didn't have all the features that it has now, like release radar, discover weekly, linking to concerts, definitely not wrapped. Like they just had the bare minimum that they could get to market, have enough features to get some user feedback, so have the maximum amount of learning for the minimal amount of effort, like I said. So the reason that businesses go MVP and not go full Monty, like straight into a fully fledged design, is because you need to learn some things. Wouldn't it be terrible if you wasted like a year plus of design time and you had it so robust and so built out, and then customers use like one portion of it? Like that's wasted design and development time. So that's one of the reasons why we use MVP. You want to just test your assumptions quickly. You want to reduce that time to market. Once you get your MVP out, then you can keep iterating, keep adding features, learning from what people have said, and then really build it out robustly. But you just don't want to waste the effort in the beginning. You just want to get that MVP out and get testing and get some responses. Next one is A/B testing. And Some of these, now that I'm thinking about these, are also used in other fields. Like this is also definitely a marketing term as well. So A/B testing is really crucial in evaluating like the effectiveness of a design, I would say. Pretty much you are comparing option A and option B against each other. And they're supposed to have similar elements, and you're going to be testing what those different elements are. So for example, let's say you have an e-commerce website and you want to do an A/B test of the two different button colors for your checkout button to see which one leads to more purchases. So you have the design up against each other. One is blue, one is green. Which one is going to get more people to click on it? And these are the kinds of metrics that you're going to be monitoring to see if one design is kind of getting you the result that you want. This can be testing different layouts, colors, fonts, flows, CTA buttons, call to action. This is definitely a data-driven approach, which I personally love. And so you can make an informed decision. Like the numbers don't lie. If more people are clicking on the green button, we're going to go with the green button. So these are kinds of things that just really help you get a sense of which design is better for what you're looking for. Okay, next one is breadcrumbs, and not Hansel and Gretel breadcrumbs, but similar thought process. So when you're navigating through a website, maybe mobile if it has it, breadcrumbs are just a good tool to track where you are navigation-wise on a page, as well as the hierarchy of the pages. They typically appear at the top of the page, and they show the path that the user just took to reach that current page. They're a breadcrumb because they kind of leave that trail of like, this is how you got here from where you started. Most of the time, they should be clickable, so you can kind of jump around as well. You don't have to use like the back button that's like built into like a website. Just because you may not be going back, may want to be jumping forward and not like just one back. So there's different reasons for using breadcrumbs. And they also really help with SEO, which I didn't know about. They help like search engines like Google have a better understanding of the website structure, and the better SEO you have, the better chances that you'll be found. An easy UI element that you should throw in if you're working on a portfolio project in bootcamp, throw in a breadcrumb in there, okay? That is a nice little element that shows that you've paid attention to detail and you're understanding the hierarchy of how people are going to flow through this and what's really going to be a nicer experience for people. So when you are working on your designs, make sure you consider some of these design concepts and terms that we went over. Let me know down in the comments which term you found most insightful or useful, or give me some other terms that you guys know and like to use or anything like that. Just let me know down in the comments below. And if you want to watch what I guess I'm calling now part 1 to this, check out this video here where I go over even more UX design terms that I think you should know. See you over there.